Video and film lighting can be very expensive, so today we're going to show you an affordable option using photo flood lights. Welcome to Cine Tips.
Adjust the focus until the picture is sharp. Now adjust the sound.
This episode is made possible by CPM Film Tools, your lightweight solution for caging the beast. LCD Viewfinder, the essential accessory for DSLR video. Lightcraft Workshop, the perfect tools to create the perfect image. Manhattan LCD, the affordable solution for high-definition monitoring.
Hi, this is Tony Reali from NextWaveDV.com, and welcome to today's episode of Cine Tips, where we'll teach you about the camera and the lights, and you provide the action. Today we're going to be talking about photo floodlights. These are a very affordable option for lighting. Now, commonly they're used for lighting photography. They're used as continuous lighting as opposed to flash lighting. But because they're continuous lights, they can obviously be used for video. They've got some advantages and disadvantages, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But here, this is a Smith Victor photo floodlight. Turn it on here. This is a 250 watt, which obviously is going to blow out the lens directly. But it does provide, it can be a good key or it can be a good fill depending on how you want to use it. But this is using a 250 watt photo flood bulb. These bulbs are slightly larger than your typical tungsten bulb that you might screw in at home, but they do use the same base. This is a 3200 Kelvin. They do make 5500 Kelvin. So it's almost exactly daylight, which is the typical 5600 Kelvin. So you can get either of those options. The bulbs are very cheap. You can usually get them around $5 a piece. The only downside with photo floods is they typically are rated at a 5-hour lifespan. So you're not going to get a ton of life out of there, but at $5 a piece, that may not be a big concern for you. And if you're not doing a ton of lighting, it may not be a problem. The other side to them is obviously this is a 250 watt bulb, so again you're going to be using 250 watts of power. If you're using a fluorescent, which we're using as our key light, we're using a 220 watt fluorescent, which kicks out equivalent around 700 watts. That obviously is 220 watts, which is less power than this, but that's kicking out 700 watts equivalent. It's not going to be as efficient as a fluorescent or an LED. But you do have, they're very inexpensive, obviously. The bulb, just one of the fluorescent bulbs that I'm talking about over here, would run around $80 versus, like I said, $5 for this one bulb. Since this is a fogged glass, and this is the interior to this photo flood fixture is kind of a matte silver finish, you're going to get a very soft output. A lot of people may look at this and say, well, isn't this the same thing as a clamp light? Yes and no. Clamp lights are going to be usually harder metal, and they're going to be shinier metal, so they're going to have a harder light. This is going to give you a softer light, so it's a little nicer. The other thing is obviously it's got a black finish. This is made by Smith Victor. It's just a little more professional looking than just a clamp light. I wouldn't recommend necessarily showing up on a film and trying to shoot with these. But this, if you did need to use them for production, there's been a couple commercial shoots where I needed an extra fill or something, and I just happened to have a photo flood lying around. I wasn't embarrassed to throw this up there. And so this is nice, adjustable light. It does work with a standard light stand. So you can get just a little $20 light stand like this and just pop it open. These are obviously very inexpensive, and it will work with the Smith Victor light like this. Smith Victor will just pop right on there and seal on nice and tight like that. Now, photo flood lights are great. They throw out a great soft light, but they have a tendency to kind of just throw light everywhere. For example, I'm going to just take this photo flood light here and blind myself with it. But I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to hold it off frame, but I'm sure it's probably still putting a glare on the lens. Is that correct, Sean?
Yes.
Yes, we're getting a glare. Even though this is off frame, now obviously I could put a matte box on the camera and try and control it from the camera. But a better option is, if I don't need that light being thrown everywhere, is to control it on the light. Now, typically you would have barn doors and stuff like that. Now, this light doesn't have barn doors. So what we can get is black wrap. Black wrap is a wonderful thing. I have some right here, and you can get it in rolls. This one is 2 foot by 25 foot or 50 foot or something like that. And it comes in this now. It's about 25 bucks a roll, but highly worth it. You might say, well, it's just glorified aluminum foil. Well, yeah, but aluminum foil is really, really flimsy. It's when you actually compare it, you've got just really, really weak stuff, whereas black wrap has a tendency to hold its shape. It is reusable, and so what you could do is you could use it around this light here, form it exactly what you want. You could use it as makeshift barn doors, and then just to hold it on there, you'd use some gaff tape. So again, this is all well, the gaff tape isn't reusable, but you could reuse the black wrap. Black wrap's a wonderful thing. We're going to talk about it more in other episodes about other uses. But this is just a great, inexpensive route. Again, now you're might be looking a little less professional, but honestly, you're going to get good functionality out of it. So you can funnel the light. Maybe you just want a soft light, like a cone light, maybe just a hash of light across the scene or something like that. Regardless, the black wrap is going to give you that control that you need, and it's a great option. And of course, it's black as opposed to aluminum foil, so it's not going to bounce light everywhere. It's going to absorb that light and allow you to give a lot more control. All right, so like we said earlier, this is already a fairly soft light, but you may want to soften it a bit more. A couple options that you can do. You can shoot through diffusion. This is obviously just a little diffusion umbrella. This fixture doesn't have a mount on it. There are some ones that are a little more expensive. This Smith & Victor fixture you can probably get for around 20-25 bucks. They do make ones that are, I think, around 50 bucks that have a direct attachment that you could put an umbrella right on there, so they're a little bit higher. And this is specifically for a 250 watt bulb. They do make ones that are, I believe, ceramic, and they dissipate the heat a little bit more, and those can handle up to a 500 watt bulb. I don't believe photo floods are in any other version besides 250 and 500 watts. But anyways, you can attach one of these bad boys right onto there if you get that version, and that can shoot through, give you a little more diffusion. Another option, we have one of these little pop-up diffusion pieces. This is just a little triangle one. That you could just get like another light stand and clamp it on there, shoot through that. Obviously, another option you could do is just shoot against a white foam core and bounce it off of there. Of course, with all these, you're going to be losing intensity, so you got to decide what the scene is. This is a 250 watt bulb. You shoot through, you're going to cut your light intensity. If you bounce it, you're going to cut your light intensity down to, relatively around 100 watts or something like that. So you have to be deciding if that scene, is it going to be overpowered by other lights? Are you going to be running into issues? So just make sure that you're figuring out your scenes. But like I said, these are very inexpensive, and they're great options to get started with. You can pick up a couple of them for easily under 100 bucks and be able to shoot multiple angles, different lighting setups. Now you're not going to be able to get a very hard light unless you swap this bulb out for a standard tungsten without any fog glass, just like an open clear glass light. That's not going to be super hard and not very focusable. So this may not be the best option if you need a hard light. Again, you might want to go with a Fresnel or an open face light, which we'll talk about in other episodes. But like I said, this is a very inexpensive option. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set up a basic scene where you might use a light like this and just show you how you can use it. All right, so we are set up with our scene, and we're going to try this out. Now, Sean, say hi, Sean.
Hey, just doing what I always do.
Get drunk at bars. Yep. We're in my basement, so we don't really have a bar scene, but we're gonna make one up. So we're gonna have Sean here. We got our Smith Victor photo floodlight, and we're gonna try it out. So now we're just gonna say, let's just plug this light in, try it out, blind Sean a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead and get drunk. Over here we have our 60D. I just picked this up, and it's pretty cool. So now I'm going to record Sean getting drunk. Drunk Sean, drunk Sean. Excellent acting. That was epic.
That's what you pay me the big bucks for.
That's right. Okay, so now that lighting is kind of flat. It'll tell the story, but it won't tell the story with much drama. So let's try and move the light around so that we can get some lighting that looks cool and dramatic. Now I'm going to set this behind here. Now you may see a lamp here. This lamp isn't currently working, but we could, if we were to have it working, this could be our motivation for the scene, for what's lighting Sean. So I'm just going to move the Smith Victor light over here and blind Sean again.
So used to the twilight.
All right, so let's see how that looks on the 60D. And, oh, that's good stuff. All right, drink again, drink again. Oh yeah, that's good stuff right there. So a lot more moody light. Now this is, obviously now we've got a bar scene. Sean, it's more moody, so it's more rim lit. Now our key light over here that's lighting me is kind of acting as a filling in these shadows. So again, you might want to have some more light. But I'm just, kind of demonstrating how you can use an inexpensive light as a nice key light for different scenes. And again, use standard lighting techniques, move it around, find a great location to shoot from. Well, we hope that's helped you guys understand how to get some great lighting for not that much money. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out our other training series like HDSLR 101, Next Wave TV. Plus, we've got some new ones coming soon about post-production and some sound production series. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But you can also check us out on Facebook, facebook.nextwavedv.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, which would be twitter.com/TonyReale. And those are great ways you can connect with us, see some behind-the-scenes photos and stuff like that. So anyways, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Don't ignore me when I'm drinking. We're rolling.
Rolling. Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day.
Rolling.